and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about my story after the exit and how I was able to regain control of my life. I know many people wonder, like, now what do I do after Watchtower, right? So here's just a strategy I used, and it's going to be different for everybody. This is my experience, but it really depends on your situation. I'm going to tell you how I handled it. And then at the end, I'm going to have some suggestions and advice on some steps you can take to prepare yourself, depending on your situation. It's important to have some kind of direction when you're trying to figure your way out of Watchtower and their control. So, in my experience, I had to seek out a path to healing. And what I decided at a young age, I was roughly, and I mentioned this in a previous video, but at a young age, around 10 or 12 years old, I had difficulty with the shunning rule. The thought that was in my mind was that if someone is really my friend, why would they shun me because I made a mistake? Or vice versa, right? Why would I stop speaking to them because they made some mistake that didn't fit into the rules? Because then they can't really be my friend and I can't be their friend. And I wanted a true friend, so I knew at that young age, this was the thoughts that were going in my mind. And I said no. I made an executive decision at 12 years old that I was going to have friends everywhere, not just in Watchtower. So of course, over the years, I've made friends. In fact, one of my friends I've known for nearly 40 years. But, I decided at a young age to make those friends, make friends outside. And so over the years, through working at my job, I met people there and we became friends, and some that I'm still friends with today. Also, there was, my husband's extended family. They were, and his family were very friendly people, and I got to know many of them. And then he had, different friends he met through his family that essentially became family and friends at the same time. So I met other people, and some of those people I'm still friends with today as well. So I was able to meet quite a few people. And then there were other people that my husband met because he was very friendly, very affable, met a lot of people through the type of work he did in his profession. So as a result, I always met, new people, and there were some that, we managed to establish concrete relationships, with. So, and then we traveled with, them, and we went out hung out with each other, and we just had great times. It was really good times, despite, the ending of the marriage. So, that is one key thing that I had. In addition to that, my mother was close to me. We were just close. So, and she realized that I was not going to the meetings, but I was her daughter. And the first and primary relationship is to keep family intact, and so we stayed connected. And in fact, what's so interesting is because her whole family, essentially, they were raised in the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. So all the people in her family knew about, being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And yet, most of them never got baptized. My mother did, of course, but the rest of them really did not when they got to be adults, they didn't stay with Jehovah's Witnesses. And so what's interesting about that is that even though they didn't stay with Jehovah's Witnesses, my mother, they were part of my mother's family. She stayed in communication with everyone. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to speak to you because you're not going to the meetings or whatever." She wasn't going to do that. So, and even my grandmother, those, they were her children. She wasn't going to disconnect from her children. That was just not going to happen. So at that time, of course, and this is many years ago, I was involved in the religion, and we all stayed in communication. So what's so interesting about that is that here I am today, I'm not involved with the religion, and yet many of those same people decided at some point, you know what, let me go ahead and learn about it and get baptized. So they did in more recent years, and they're in, and I'm out, but we still stay connected. So we were not going to discontinue our communication. We never did before, and why should we do it now? So it was so interesting, the family dynamic, that as well as having those friends and having all that in place was great, because I was able to have a really good support system. That is key, really key. So in addition to that, we had a small family overall. My extended family wasn't very large, or those that, it was, to some degree it was large, but we were not really in touch with the distant relatives. Unlike, my husband's family, they had relatives from all over, and they all kind of stayed connected. So in our case, our family, for that reason, was somewhat small. So cutting people off would really not even really be an option. And just with your logical mind would just not make sense. So that was a blessing. And I really know that, for many people, that's an unusual case, an unusual story. And my heart really goes out to people who really don't have that connection, or whose family is very fanatical, and it just really creates a lot of angst and unhappiness. And so my heart does go out to you all. The thing I decided to do afterwards was to educate myself. And what I mean by that is I wanted to educate myself about what other religions do and get familiar with some of the way they handle things. I was not attracted to Judaism, nor was I attracted to the Muslim faith. I decided to look into the non-denominational Christians and also Buddhism. So I did, for a few years, look into both of those. I wasn't really consistent with the non-denominational Christians. Their message was much more powerful. Their message was one of kindness and was, one of love. However, like anything else, people say those words, but they don't really practice it. Now, whether they practice it or not, I don't know. But when I did leave their services at the end of, the services on a Sunday, I felt uplifted. And that is pretty important. I did not feel unhappy. I didn't feel depressed. I didn't feel some of the negative feelings I had after every meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses. I didn't really pay attention to it because I guess I had gotten so used to it with Jehovah's Witnesses that I didn't really even realize that I was not feeling good after the meetings. The key thing is I did not have any other exposure to any other religions. So that was very important for me to get that education. because you need to open your mind to understanding what's out there. How do you know unless you learn, right? So I felt that was very important. So that's what I did. And then the Buddhist organization, I did like the message, and for a while I did attend their services. However, and I even went to the point of becoming a member at one point. However, I recognized as time went on that they had a similar issue. It became built around another hierarchical structure, meaning that there were, this talk about, well, this one is a pioneer and a leader and a this and a that. And, you need to speak to them because they have more information and they're the ones who we look to for answers for certain things. And it was kind of that dynamic. They didn't say those words, but it was that same dynamic that you have in Watchtower. And of course, it wasn't strict and overbearing like Watchtower is, but it essentially was a similar thing, I noticed. Now, the practice itself, the Buddhist practice, is one of joy. And so I will say this, that their main message and their core belief is, how do we find happiness in this life? And that's really what it should be about, So from that perspective, yes, it was a very uplifting, positive message. But in the end, also, we have this organization that you have to deal with, and it's I don't have a problem with an organization, but I do have a problem with people trying to be put into boxes about who's higher and who's better and who knows more and so on. In any area of life, there are always going to be others that know more or those that know less, but they should not be looked down upon. And when I say that, they don't obviously look down upon a person, but Watchtower clearly does that. I mean, they are misogynistic, right? They don't like women. They treat them, they're just part of the group that we can rule over. That's essentially the attitude of Jehovah's Witnesses. We can tell them what to do because they can't have any positions. They're not smart enough. They're not intelligent enough. They're not of a caliber that it's the men who have to take the lead, Anyway, that's their view. And although the Buddhist organization was different in that respect, in terms of allowing women and men to get involved in these roles, it also became a similar thing. Well, this one has more organizational duties, so we have to contact them to find out what we should do. We have to get our directions from them. And, it's just that same dynamic. So for that reason, I decided that this was not, the organization was not really serving me. And it's really should not be, no religion really should be about that. And then I had an epiphany and I says, wait a minute. What do I need to attend this service for? It doesn't matter. Do I need to go there? I can be a member of any organization, not just a religion, right? So that's when I decided, okay, I don't really have to do that, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings and we all deserve happiness regardless of what religion you are in or not in. So that's when I decided that that's enough. I don't need to do that. I can practice what I wish to practice, whatever brings me joy. That is what we are here for. And so anyway, that is what I decided to do. I do want to point this out, that I did make some friends in the Buddhist organization as well. And we are friends and it's great. And again, that's what brings joy. to life, having these friendships. So with that, I'd like to segue into what can we do? What can we do? What actually you can do? What can you do when you are faced with this? Many people who may be listening are PMOs, or trying to, physically and mentally out. That's what that stands for. And trying to figure a way out, or who are just dealing with a lot of mental issues in terms of feeling guilty, or in terms of being depressed, or many people have lost their social connections. And even some, of course, are dealing with grief and fear and, guilt. It's like, okay, am I going to die because I'm not, involved anymore? What am I going to do? And so the first thing I want to say to you is to take a deep breath. And let go of those negative thoughts. I know it's not easy to do that, but it's time to start anew. It really is. Life is so rich and can be a wonderful experience. But these challenges are here for us to break through. That is what our life is about, experiences. And so this is just an experience. It doesn't feel good. Many times it doesn't feel good. Many things that we do in our life don't feel good, but we keep our focus on the goal that we're trying to achieve. And once we reach our goal, we're like, yes, I did it. I made it. It wasn't easy going through that. It could be something as simple as taking an exam to get a particular type of job, or studying for some college exams, or trying to get into a college. Whatever it is you're doing, you have to do the work, and then you get to achieve so much. And then that's when you experience the joy of the fruits of your labor. So that's what this experience is. It's a matter of us first. My first suggestion is to start making a plan. Plan your life. 3 words. Plan your life. It's your life. It's not Watchtower's life. They would love to take it over. These bureaucracies and governments and all these things, they want to control you. So they would love to control you. But it's up to you to make the choice. Make the decision and the choice to plan your life and take back your life. If you can, get some counseling. Counseling is always helpful. Reach out to different counselors. And, even a trauma counselor can help, even if they're not, involved with religions. But there's different counselors out there. Just try and test out different ones. See how you feel after you talk to someone. It really makes a huge difference. So that's what I offer. Also, remember these words. This too shall pass. Yes, when you're going through a rough time, because we all go through rough times, remember this moment that's not feeling good, it will pass. And then you just take a deep breath and just try to resume and try to focus your attention on your next steps. So that is what I have to say to you today. Plan your life. Start making new friends. That's a very important one as well. So planning your life, getting some counseling, Making new friends, that's a big one. In fact, probably that should be first on the list. If you know some people now, start seeing what friendships you can develop, and be sincere. Don't be phony. Be sincere in developing new friends. It's always good to have new friends. And if you don't have hardly any friends, go out wherever you whatever you're doing in your life. If you go to if you decide to join a group that's doing some particular hobby that you enjoy, join a group. You'll meet like-minded people. If you like to knit, or if you like to read, join a book club, or get to know other people. Um, if you go to the grocery store and there's someone that you see all the time and you always strike up a conversation with that person, then why don't you expand it a little bit more, get to know them? Maybe they'll end up being a friend. You see, so there's different avenues you can take to develop new friendships, because in the end they could be your lifeline to helping you get out. They may have a connection or a way for you to get, maybe one of them is involved with properties or something, or different things, and they can get you an apartment somewhere if you have to leave a situation. It depends on your situation. So, but regardless of what situation you are in, make new friends, plan your life, and get some counseling. That's what I can offer you today. I hope that you will find this video helpful in terms of finding ways to exit. But regardless of what you do, take control of your life. Don't give your life away to somebody else. It doesn't matter whether it's a person or a religion or another group. Don't give your life up. It's yours. Treasure it. And whatever you believe in terms of God or the universe or whatever, recognize that you were given this life. You're not here by accident. So take control of it. And until next time, I thank you so much for listening, and I wish you the best in all that you do. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.